Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. I wanted to pop in to say, do you have any big business plans for this new year? Oh my gosh, with the previous year in the rearview mirror, and that rhymed, with the previous year in the rearview mirror, I've been putting a ton of thought into revamping my business plan. In fact, that's what I've been working on for the past week. And I'll probably be working on it up until the new year. And I'm a firm believer in coming up with a new business plan every January. And then, of course, I revisit it quarterly. That way, if I need to tweak it, I can. So in this year's plan, I've been specifically focusing on ways to grow my brand through digital marketing. Of course, you knew that. So branding encompasses really everything in your business, right? So including your personality. So this is really something that's super important to consider when creating your business strategy, your online strategy, your digital marketing strategy. Everything goes into it. Your personality, your goals, your business sense, beliefs, everything. It all is encompassed inside your brand. And that is so important because why? People buy from people. Let me say that again. People buy from people. There are two problems, however. First, many small business owners and entrepreneurs have a hard time coming out from behind the computer screen. How do I know that? Because it took me years to do it myself. So it's really hard for your potential customers to get a real sense of who you are. And the second mistake that I see a lot is that there's this fine balance, right, between getting really into people's face with your branding and not having any type of face in branding, right? So in other words, you really need to define your brand, which really does mean walking that fine line between your personality and your business. So I thought I would talk today about some tips that might be helpful for the coming year. So, of course, you want to show more of your personality, right? You want customers flocking to your business. And in order for that to happen, you really have to differentiate yourself from your competitors. And while you can do this by offering unique products and unparalleled customer service, your brand itself should be doing that heavy lifting. So to better define your brand, you need to show off more of your personality. So after all, you are the founder of your business, right? Your personality is going to impact every aspect of it. So by showing more of your character in things like social media or webinars or YouTube videos, all of these different types of outreach methods really help to give your brand that voice. So here's an example, all right? One of the biggest brands in the world, Disney, right? So Disney was founded in 1923 by Walt Disney and his brother Roy. And obviously, they made cartoons starring some of the most identifiable characters in history. But Walt wanted more. He wanted movies, merchandising, theme parks, and most important, he wanted a connection with his audience. So how did he do it? Well, he worked himself into the product. To raise money and awareness for this new California park, Walt created a TV show on ABC called Walt Disney's Disneyland. And on it, he would directly address his audience and give them a look at the man and his dreams for this park. So Walt Disney soon became inseparable from his business. His personality reflects Walt Disney's production values and beliefs. So funny enough, he was apparently painfully shy in real life. And that certainly wasn't the public persona that he broadcast to the world. So by showing that side of his personality on TV, he was able to define a brand that would become one of the world's largest entertainment companies. And I hear that theme park here in Florida, well, I heard it turned out pretty good too. So where to start? Well, I think one of the most important things is to really grab on to those connection points, right? So if you were to ask your friends to describe you in one sentence, what would they say? Well, it's tricky to boil down everything about a person into a few words, right? But the most successful brands have made an art form of it. How? by giving their customer base connection points. So a connection point is simply something that you're known for, right? So for example, a lot of times I'll get on a consultation with someone who has not met me before, and it might even be the first time that we have, conversed at all, and probably most definitely on video. A lot of times they'll say to me, "Oh yeah, you're the girl with the cute dogs." I hear that a lot. And since I've launched my podcast, I've been getting a lot more recognition for that. I hear from people, "Oh, I love your podcast," or, "You're kind of everywhere." So my point is that those small connection points, those are what people latch onto, and they really need to be a significant component in your marketing. So am I recognized for my dogs? Well, maybe. I'll drop a picture of them in the link for you below so you can check them out. But what are you known for? What are your connection points? You should ask some of your clients, family, friends, and then once you figure out what those connection points are, start putting them into your marketing. You'll be surprised how often people will recognize you and your brand once you're posting about those connection points on a daily basis. And of course, you want to work on different visibility methods, right? So one of the most exhausting parts of building a brand is to maintain visibility on a variety of platforms, right? So for example, I have my website and my social media and my email list and a podcast and this YouTube channel. And I do a lot of guest posts for other websites. So in other words, I'm kind of everywhere. And, it's easy to say, of course, but that can require a lot of footwork. Being visible on a platform like Instagram takes daily posting, right? And that can become exhausting. I mean, if you're trying to write blurbs and come up with graphics every day. So I'm going to come back around to what I talk to my clients about a lot, which is batching your time, right? So that's really the best way to handle things like content, rather than preparing your posts the same day, like every morning or even once a week. Do the whole month at once. That way it's done. It's scheduled. You don't have to think about it again. And not only is it a huge time saver, but it's a huge, huge lift off your brain. It is for mine. And if it's not something that, is something that you really enjoy doing, then I would suggest hiring that out, because it is a big chunk of time. It's an important part of your marketing, but it's not necessarily a part of your marketing that you have to do yourself. So make a list of all the places that your brand is visible online. Take a look and see, are there prominent platforms that are maybe missing? Maybe your brand should be on Instagram, but you're not. Maybe you should be on LinkedIn, but you're not doing what you need there. It might be a time to really do a social media audit and figure out where you should be and then get back up to date. But my point is that you probably do need to be on multiple platforms to really get the success that you want, or at least to test things out at first. A lot of times, in order to find out where your audience is hanging out, you've got to research it and kind of test the waters. But then moving into building connections into relationships. So think back to the very beginning of a very important relationship, right? So like maybe with a spouse or a partner or, a best friend, right? What was it like when you first met, right? There obviously wasn't that relationship yet, but there must have been some sort of connection. Maybe you can't even put it into words. Maybe it was just a little spark that grew into something that turned out to be one of the most important things in your life. Well, that's the same when it comes to building a relationship with your audience and your customer base. When first exposed to your brand, chances are they probably don't know you yet, right? And they're not going to immediately be heading to your website to purchase your products or services. At best, you formed that first connection with them, but now it's time to build on that connection and turn it into a relationship. So I've been doing this for the past, about 6 to 8 weeks on Instagram, just something I had been testing to see, how it works. So, I had been creating social media content that really was creating more of a connection between myself and my followers, right? And if I noticed someone commenting on a post, then it was a really great excuse to start building that connection into a relationship. And so I will send personal messages, introduce myself. And even if the conversation is really short, I still remember to personally reach out. I don't do this with the intent of selling. Instead, I keep it light, light and likable and relatable, I want to build that relationship there. I want to provide value. So other ways to do this are to randomly check in with your followers, right? And collaborate with other professionals in related but not competitive fields. And of course, make sure that you're always replying to any type of comments that you get, whether it's on social media or in your emails, whatever it is. Again, outreach can be difficult. It can be time consuming, right? But I have found that it's one of the most effective ways to grow those connections into relationships with your audience. So let's kind of go back over what we learned today, right? So growing your brand should be part of your yearly business plan. Branding really encompasses everything in your business, including your personality. And there really does need to be that fine balance between, your personality and your professional personality, right? You kind of want to have that really great balance. And connection points are things that your customers will really latch onto when you're developing a brand relationship. And just think about, how would your customers describe you? Find out and then lean into that. And you should be on the platforms that your audience is hanging out on, right? So if they're on YouTube, you should focus there. If they're on Facebook or Instagram, you need to be doing that research and really finding out where they're hanging out and spend your time there. And again, I know it can be exhausting. I know, because I run this business and I still do my own networking. So I know how exhausting it is. I recommend batching your content and, of course, reaching out and hiring a virtual assistant to help with, the things that really aren't the best use of your time. And once you've established a connection with your customer or your prospect, you want to build that into a relationship. And of course, you do this through conversations, replying to comments, collaborating, sending private messages. You want to engage your most passionate followers. So way back in the day, small businesses were limited in how they could grow their brands, right? It was all local. You had the radio station and the newspaper, but that was about it. Nowadays, small businesses can use digital marketing platforms to grow their businesses statewide, nationwide, even globally. And if you want to dig in to how to grow your brand using digital marketing, then I definitely suggest checking out my masterclass that's coming up. It's 7 powerful ways to kickstart your digital marketing. And of course, if you're ready to jump into growing your brand in the new year, then definitely reach out. Happy to answer any questions that you have. Always happy to be of assistance. And I look forward to hearing from you. I hope that you're having a really great year, and I will see you next time.